Meet Jack. If you saw him in the university hallways, you'd see a guy who looked like he was constantly running a race he was losing. His eyes were perpetually tired, his phone was a source of endless pings, and his backpack felt like it was filled with lead. Like most of us, Jack was drowning in stuff. Late assignments, social media notifications, part-time shifts, and the constant buzzing anxiety of trying to do everything at once without actually accomplishing anything that mattered. He didn't have a priority list, he had a chaotic pile of to-dos. That Tuesday morning, Jack slumped into his seat in Philosophy 101, ready to zone out. But his professor didn't open a textbook. Instead, he placed a massive empty glass jar on the desk. "This jar," the professor said, catching Jack's drifting attention, "is your life." Jack watched, skeptical, as the professor filled the jar with large rocks. "Is it full?" the professor asked. "Yeah," Jack muttered, along with the class. It looked packed. But then came the pebbles. The professor poured them in, shaking the jar as they rattled into the gaps. Then came the sand, sliding into the tiny crevices. And finally, a bottle of water, soaking the whole mess until not a single bubble of air remained. "Jack," the professor called out, locking eyes with him, "if I had put the sand in first, would there be room for the rocks?" Jack froze. "No, sir." "Your life is the same," the professor explained. "The rocks are your must-haves, your health, your family, your deepest dreams. If you lost everything but kept these, you'd still have a life worth living. The pebbles are your important but not criticals, your job, your car, your house. The sand, that's the noise, the scrolling, the gossip, the small arguments. And the water is the worry, the energy you waste on things you can't control." Jack felt a lump in his throat. He thought about his mother, whom he hadn't called in weeks because he was too busy. That was his rock sitting outside the jar. "Many people," the professor continued, "climb the ladder of success only to find it was leaning against the wrong wall. They fill their jar with sand and then wonder why they feel empty inside." The room went silent. A student in the back asked, "But how do we know what our rocks are?" "Only you can decide," he replied. "Ask yourself, if tomorrow were my last day, what would I regret not doing? That is your rock. Protect it. Put it in first. The sand will always find a way to fit, but the rocks won't wait for the sand to move." As the bell rang, Jack didn't rush out like usual. He stayed in his seat, looking at the jar. He realized his jar was currently a muddy mess of sand and water. He walked up to the desk. "Professor, what if my jar is already full of the wrong stuff?" The professor smiled, picked up the jar, and flipped it over. Everything crashed onto the desk, the sand, the rocks, the water. "The beauty of life, Jack, is that you can empty the jar anytime you want. You just have to be brave enough to start over with the rocks." Jack left the room, but he wasn't running this time. He took a deep breath, pulled out his phone, and did something he hadn't done in a long time. He turned off the notifications, put the phone in his pocket, and went to call his mom. He finally knew what his rocks were.
"I miss you, Mom."
Oh, honey, I miss you too. I can't wait until you're home.
Like Jack, we're all just trying to figure it out. If you're ready to empty your jar and start over, hit subscribe. You might not see us again in the chaos of your feed, so let's make sure we stay connected.